Hi! Mario Kart Wii is a beloved game on the Nintendo Wii, which touched the hearts of many young gamers. But when I replayed it recently, I realized in this fun game for kids, you are constantly breaking the law, from speed limits all the way to domestic terrorism. Now, as a law-abiding citizen myself,
oh my god, bro.
I began to ask the question, can you beat Mario Kart Wii without breaking any road rules? And in today's video, I intend to answer that question. Before we begin, I should set some ground rules. Firstly, I will be using Australian road rules, as I'm unfamiliar with Japanese or American road rules. But they should all be quite similar. Secondly, to complete this challenge, I must beat every nitro track without breaking a single law. Thirdly, if I'm unable to beat a track without breaking a road rule, I'll just take note of it and keep going. And finally, if you find a rule that I broke, that I missed, or have a way of completing a track that I failed, let me know, and I'll try to repeat the challenge. Now that that's out of the way, let's get straight into it. Shit. So this is going to be harder than I thought. So what I noticed when I started the track, there is no way of telling how fast or how fast you should be going. But there's a pretty simple solution that remedies that issue. All you have to do is put this custom-made code into your very real copy of Mario Kart Wii, and then you get a speedometer. And thankfully, it's in kilometers per hour. With this speedometer, I can finally see how fast I'm going. Now all I need to do is work out the speed limit. But before I do that, I should mention that yes, none of the vehicles have seatbelts. None of the vehicles have indicators, or brake lights, or front lights, or anything. They don't have mirrors. Sure, you can look behind you, but you kind of need mirrors. Pretty sure that's a rule now. If I was judging by that, yeah, I fucking lost. So, but with this speedometer, I think I can finally start this challenge. By looking at the size of the track and where it was situated, I figured that the speed limit would most likely correlate to highway speed limits. Now, I could have decided to keep the speed limit to 80 kilometers, because lots of small highways have that as the speed. But I decided to challenge myself and do the more reasonable 70 kilometers per hour. Now, as you can see in the gameplay, I hit Baby Mario. You don't do that. That is a road rule broken. And so what do? I reset. I have to reset every time I'm responsible for a road rule being broken. But you'll see lots of the time where it is not my fault, and I can't do anything about it. Now initially when I started this track, I was dead set on staying in the left-hand lane, but I quickly realized it didn't actually matter because we were all driving in the same direction. It will come up later though. One thing I realized very early, I can't use most of the items in the game. Most of them will give you a speed boost, and that's really hard if you're already going at basically the speed limit. It's useful in tracks where there is virtually no speed limit, but for tracks like this, where you're on a road, you can't really use them. You also can't use banana peels, green shells, red shells, any kind of destructive item, because it can count as littering, it can count as destruction of property, destruction of vehicle, lots of stuff. Hit and run again. Basically, you just don't want to do them. I will say, however, having the defensive item behind you, I kind of want to count it. And I don't use it in this track, but I do use it further ahead. Now, what you might have noticed in this track is that I am on a bike, and I haven't wheelied this whole time. And that is because wheeling actually counts as dangerous driving. So actually, I can't do it at all. Another thing you might have realized is that I haven't drifted this whole time, because drifting counts as dangerous driving. So basically, this challenge is a no drift, no wheelie, basically no item challenge. But as you can see, I'm actually doing pretty well, and would you believe it? I won! That was very impressive. But I've still got to get through every single other track. Moving on to Moo Moo Meadows, this one is actually quite a bit easier. Because this is on farmland, the speed limit is a lot higher. I deduced it to be roughly 110 kilometers per hour. And I didn't even reach 110. Like, max I got was 104. And so, as you can tell, I used a lot of mushrooms. When I got mushrooms as an item, I used it. And thankfully, I could use them quite a lot. Because if I got a destructive item, that would just be a shock. And it would get shocked out of me. Now, I did a few risky maneuvers on this track. Like, there's no rule against not going over mole tunnels, but I don't know. Probably shouldn't have done that. But nevertheless, I stuck to the path. I went around the cows. Didn't crash into them. I didn't crash into anyone this time. This was a fully clean run. And would you believe it, I got second. One thing I should mention, all of these were my first attempt. So I did not do any repeats. If I got a bad placement, that was it, okay? Could I get first in Moo Moo Meadows? Of course. Did I? No. But the main point of this challenge isn't actually to get all first. It's to get gold in every single Grand Prix. So if I tally up the scores, would I be able to gold every single course? I don't think this is very legal. Mushroom Gorge. I decided to stick with the 110 kilometers per hour on this. But if you disagree with that, you've got bigger fish to fry, because this track is full of road braking things. I mean, there's nothing that says you can't bounce on mushrooms to get through everything. But then again, that probably counts as dangerous driving. So I don't know. Tough thing to do, but there's not really many ways of going around the mushrooms. Of course, I did take the other path that did involve mushrooms at the beginning, but that's about it. I had to use mushrooms on the other thing. And don't tell me about the glitch where you go onto the wall. That definitely counts as dangerous driving. Didn't happen. That's removed from the cut. But anyway, yes, I did trick off the mushrooms, but who fucking cares, okay? Who cares? But after I failed the first attempt, I actually went along and got first. Now that is first in the Luigi Circuit, second in Moo Moo Meadows, and first in Mushroom Gorge. Toad's Factory, this one was very tricky. I decided the only logical speed limit would be 60 on this. That's gonna be pretty fucking hard. And hard it was. This meant I couldn't use any items, basically, and I had to be very careful that I didn't go above the speed limit. I didn't really have a good way of dealing with my speed at this time. I will find a way later on, but for now, I kind of just move the accelerator and then take it off, then put it back on, then take it off, and that's about it. Now, I broke a few road rules. Like, these boost panels, I don't know how to stop them. Of course, I probably broke road rules by going into restricted areas into this factory, but what am I supposed to do? I have to go around the track. But yeah, there was lots of boost panels, lots of times where I had to go 100 kilometers per hour, and it was just, yeah. I even used a mushroom to get through the mud. But look at what happened. I got 9th. Would that be a gold? Probably not, but technically it could be. Mario Circuit. Speed limit, 70 kilometers. Now this one was quite more chaotic than Luigi Circuit. Like, lots of hitting into other people, lots of bombs everywhere, lots of just dangerous stuff happening around me. Now a lot of you could determine that a lot of this was my fault, but no, it wasn't. Also, can I just say, who was letting these fucking babies drive? It's insane. I just realized, if I slightly tap the left or right, I don't need to slow down. So it's only step. It's only tap. It's only tap. Anyway, this track actually went quite well, because despite being in last place, or close to last place, I actually made a turnaround and got to second place. So that's a pretty good start for the next cup. Coconut Mall was a disaster. Oh my god. I don't even want to talk about it. 20 kilometers per hour. What am I supposed to do? I had to turn it into 20 kilometers the whole time. I got overlapped almost 2 times. I couldn't even do any other laps. I did one lap. That was terrible. I mean, it wasn't all bad. I got to see some other shops that I'd never seen before. I mean, you know, the music's nice to listen to. That's about it. I don't want to talk about this ever again. When I got to the parking lot, the actual cars were breaking the road rules. So why am I the only one doing the road rules? Anyway, I got last place. Are you happy now? DK Summit, I determined to be 70 kilometers per hour. Now, this one's a bit of a hard one because it's not really a road, so I could kind of do anything I wanted except for, you know, destroying vehicles. Like, come on, I shoot out of a cannon. I shoot out of a cannon. But anyway, I tried to do the gap jump in the first lap. That failed miserably. But one thing I tried to avoid doing was using the sides to get a boost. Not because the boost itself would get me above 70 kilometers, but because the boost, it's kind of like a trick in a way. It's probably safer going on the bottom of a half pipe than going at the top. Anyway, not much to write home about, you know. Lots of characters being fucking stupid, but nothing infuriating. In fact, on the final lap, I went through it all and I actually got first. So that's pretty good. Now, what speed limit did I make Wario's gold mine? 70 kilometers. Can you tell that I'm finding it very difficult to find these speed limits for tracks that you should not be driving on? Look, minecarts technically go only like 20 kilometers. I'm not dealing with that again. So I decided 70 was sufficient. Now, there were lots of obstacles that weren't just the characters this time. There were bats, and road rules dictate that you should not be hitting the animals. So I tried to steer around them the best I could. Now, also, shouldn't interrupt the minecarts that are delivering gold. So I tried to steer away from that as well, and I tried to stay on the path that was most like a road. Now, the characters were also being very infuriating. The final lap, I go through it all, and I get first. Another first. And so for the final tally of this Grand Prix, I got second, 12th, first, and first, which could technically be gold. All these could technically be gold. Luigi Circuit. This one actually started to resemble a road, so I could put an accurate speed limit of 60 kilometers because there are residential homes around. Now, this one kind of sucked. I realized quite quickly that the roads were pretty poorly made. Like, what is this square road thing? What are we doing? But yeah, lots of people bumped into me. They didn't care that I was trying to go through the actual thing. Whatever. You had these roundabout kind of things. It was pretty easy to go through. But yeah, that 60 kilometers per hour, that killed me. Like, going through the first lap, it looked like I was doing pretty okay. I could probably do a lot better, but by the final lap, it ended before I even got there. Fucking sucks, man. Koopa Cape, we're back to the old 70 kilometers per hour. Yeah, nothing much happened here. I mean, there's kind of a path in the first bit, but in the river bit, there's actually a bit of road that you can go to. So I figured, you know, you're probably not supposed to drive in the river. If there's a road next to it, drive on that. And so I did, but then I realized I still had to go on the river eventually. So on the second lap, I just went on the road, and then when it stopped being fast, I just went onto the river. You know, do cars drive in pipes that go underneath the water? I mean, some places have that, just saying. But yeah, with all these tracks, I'm just realizing more and more that these aren't very realistic. And my idea of trying to not break any road rules might not actually have been the smartest plan that I had. But it's still a challenge, and a challenge must be completed. And so, with all that, I got second. Maple Treeway. There's not really a road speed limit for trees, but it's in the countryside, so 110 kilometers it is. Now this one was quite exciting. As soon as I got into the cannon, I hit someone, then I hit someone again, but it's not really my fault, is it? Lots of stuff went my way this time. I can use mushrooms again, finally. And here's something I didn't mention before. A lot of the time, I tried to get the draft of the person in front of me. Now, a lot of you might say, that is dangerous driving. You cannot drive that close to a person. But I wasn't going to hit them, guys. I didn't hit them. Going into the second lap, it was actually quite exciting. I got a shock dodge.
Holy shock dodge.
That has to be frame perfect. I don't see any other way of it. But yeah, that was very exciting. And I got the mushroom from the bush. That was also very good. And then onto the third lap. which might be even more exciting. So at this time I had a Mega Mushroom, and every other track I thought, well, having a Mega Mushroom might be quite dangerous because, you know, I might squish someone. There's no rule that says you can't be really big. But past this, a blue shell was actually coming towards me.
Wait.
And guess what I did? Yep.
Dodge it.
I dodged the blue shell. I've never done that before, but I did it then. Pretty impressive. And then going through everything else, I got first. Grumble Volcano. What's the speed limit of a volcano? I don't know, but let's do 70 kilometers per hour. So yeah, another one that's 70, and you just have to go through the path and go through the laps without getting a mushroom, without getting a defensive item. But in this, I did actually place some defensive items behind me. So there's that. It didn't really help too much, but I got someone. You know, I don't want to hurt these people, but they did. Second lap through, Bowser hit me with a fake item box. And then I got shocked while I was having a bomb in my items, which made the bomb blow up. Is it my fault though? I didn't shoot the lightning. You know, I didn't make it blow up. Sorry for having explosive cargo. Anyway, everything else was fine. And then, final lap, I thought, ooh, everyone's kind of slowing down. I can finally get a good placement. But then they kept going ahead and I barely missed out on second and I got third. But overall, it was okay.
This close.
It was an okay thing. I mean, it could have got gold. I don't know. Fuck. Dry desert. What's the speed limit? No, I'm not going to do 70. I'm going to do like 100 and something. Speed limit is very high. It's sand. What's the worst that could happen? So yeah, I just went through it all and, you know, definitely didn't do anything wrong. I just went through the temple, went around. Yeah, I had to avoid the bats going into the temple, had to avoid the bats going out of the temple, but that's about it for the first lap. Second lap, I got a bullet bill because I was quite far behind. And I thought to myself, I might actually be able to use it. And so you know what I did? I took a risk and I used it. Thankfully, I didn't hit anyone. Because if I did hit anyone, that would have gone terribly. And I would be locked away in jail forever. So that was a big risk. No, I played pretty well every other time. The boost from the half pipe, got the boost from the mushroom, and I ended up in second. An okay place. Moonview Highway. This track is actually a track that works perfectly. We have a very good idea of what the speed limit is. It's in the name. Moonview Highway. We get sides of the road. We need to drive on the left-hand side of the road. And there are cars driving on the road. All of these things are here. I can finally drive without breaking any road rules. And I fell off the map. And I went through everything. Got 11th. Oh well. Bowser's Castle. 70 kilometers. A lot of things that break road rules. Automatically. Like, what are we doing? Again, boost panels that I cannot avoid. Hitting people that I cannot avoid. It's a pretty dangerous track. Like, what are these fireballs happening? Why are we over lava in a castle? But yeah, just lots of dangerous stuff. That should never be here. But in the middle of lap 2, this happened. What? What was that? Did you just see that? That was insane. How do you even do that? That's insane. These psychopaths need to be put in prison. But I went through everything and I finally got second. So it was actually pretty good. Alright, we're on to the final track. Rainbow Road. Fucking stop! It is not a road. This is not a road. You cannot have road rules here. We are in the middle of fucking space. What am I supposed to do? You know, this whole challenge makes no sense. This was just a dumb idea I had. Okay, I thought it'd be fun. What is everything? Everything makes no sense. Why is everyone littering and destroying each other's vehicles? Luigi is a psychopath. Baby Mario is a psychopath. Every baby is a psychopath. What is going on? Huh? What is going on in the Mario universe where this is how you drive everywhere? This whole challenge is a complete mess. And you might be thinking, well, you actually did pretty well. Dude, I've been lying to you. You know how many times I cheated? Like I did a little wheelie and I realized a mistake, but I kept going? Because I didn't care. I didn't care about any of this. I hit people. And I didn't care. And I will never care. I will always hit people. And I went way above the speed limit multiple times. But who am I to care? This is a game where you can't do it. This is an impossible challenge. But I will say, with what I could do with the challenge, I actually did quite well. And I think I demonstrated that the best with Rainbow Road. Because after going through 2 laps, falling off, I managed to win. And with that first place, can you beat Mario Kart Wii without breaking any road rules? No. Like, of course you can't. Of course you can't, because the game doesn't care. Now, can you beat it without breaking most road rules? Maybe. I didn't. I got too many last places. Look, I could repeat the challenge, and if this video gets enough views and enough likes, I will. And you know, maybe I'll actually play it on a device that isn't super shit. I was playing on like 2% of the actual speed because my laptop could not run the fucking game. So maybe I'll repeat this challenge in a bit. But hey, that's all for now. Bye.